This is the ECOTRIC Coolboy 26-inch fat tire electric mountain bike, and the real benefit is simple. Rough streets, loose gravel, and even sandy paths turn into a smooth, confident ride, and I get where I am going without feeling beat up. I put this in the big, capable electric mountain bike category with a comfort tilt. It is best for riders who want one bike that can commute during the week and play on the weekend. If you are taller or on the heavier side, you will appreciate how substantial it feels. If you are smaller or you need to carry a bike upstairs, keep listening, because the size and weight are real factors you should think about. The design is what grabbed me at first. The frame is chunky and solid, with clean welds and a bold orange paint that gets attention at stoplights. The 4-inch wide fat tires are not just for looks, they change the ride. Pavement feels calmer, gravel feels less twitchy, and even beach sand or light snow is manageable. The geometry puts me in a more upright position, which my shoulders appreciate. I am 6'3" and around 230 pounds, and the fit feels steady and controlled rather than cramped. When I straddle the top tube, there is not a lot of clearance for me, so if you are much shorter than 6 feet, it could feel tall. The included fenders are practical, and the built-in lights and reflectors are actually useful when the sun drops. Nothing rattles, nothing feels flimsy, and the bike has that reassuring heft that makes you want to point it at a rough road and just go. Getting it set up took a little time, not because it is complicated, but because it is heavy. The box is no joke. The bike came mostly assembled. I mounted the handlebar, adjusted the seat, checked the brakes and the gears, and made sure every bolt was tight. If you have tinkered with bikes before, you will be fine, but plan some space and maybe a second pair of hands. The only hiccup I had was the handlebar clamp. Out of the box, it did not lock as securely as I wanted, and the bars tilted down on my first ride. I ended up adding an extra bolt to keep it firmly in place. If that kind of fix is not your thing, a quick visit to a bike shop is a good idea. Once dialed in, it stayed dialed. On the road, the bike feels calm and powerful without being jumpy. The 750-watt motor delivers a smooth push that wakes up as soon as I start pedaling. I stick with pedal assist most of the time because it feels natural, like my legs just got stronger. The throttle is there when I want to cruise without effort, like rolling away from a stop sign or nudging up a short hill. Responsiveness is balanced. It does not surge forward unexpectedly, and it does not lag. The display on the handlebar is easy to read in daylight, and I can glance down to see speed, assist level, and battery without taking my attention off the road for long. There is even a universal serial bus port on the display that will top up a phone slowly. Not fast charging, but enough to keep navigation alive during a long ride. The core performance is where the Coolboy earns its keep. Power is steady on climbs. I have taken it up steep neighborhood hills where I would normally shift into a low gear and grind, and instead I stayed seated and rolled up without spiking my heart rate. On loose surfaces, those 4-inch tires spread the load and maintain traction. I took it onto a sandy path near the water, and it tracked straight where a regular tire would dig and fishtail. After a light dusting of snow, I tried a side street just to see, and while I still rode cautiously, the bike did not feel skittish. The hydraulic suspension up front and the rear setup take the sting out of potholes and curb cuts. I can hop a curb or cross a rough section of trail and keep my hands relaxed on the grips. The hydraulic disc brakes are strong and predictable. Modulation is easy. I can scrub speed gently or stop with authority if a car rolls a little too far into the crosswalk. Wet roads did not change that consistent feel. The battery is a removable 48-volt pack rated at around 12.5 ampere hours. In practice, that means I can do my normal commute of 15 to 20 miles with assist and still have charge left. I charge it every 2 or 3 rides, not because I have to, but because it is convenient to bring the battery inside with the key. Range depends on how much assist I use, the terrain, and the temperature. On a windy day with a lot of throttle, I can watch the bars drop faster. On a mild day with moderate assist, the bike just keeps going. Importantly, I do not feel battery anxiety every time I leave the house. For gears, the 7-speed drivetrain is simple and familiar. Shifts are clean, and I do not overthink it. On flat streets, I sit in a mid-gear and let the motor do the steady push. On steeper climbs, I click down a couple of gears and let the assist keep my cadence smooth. There is no complicated learning curve here. You get on pedal, and you understand how it wants to be ridden in a few blocks. I tested it in a spread of real situations. Early morning commutes across cracked pavement, lunch runs on bike paths with sandy patches, and weekend loops through park trails where roots and ruts usually slow me down. The Coolboy stayed composed. The steering is not razor sharp like a light road bike, but that is not the point. It is stable. On fast descents I felt planted, and crosswinds did not push me around the way they do on narrower tires. The only time I felt the weight was when I had to lift it. Getting 80+ pounds up porch steps or into a car trunk takes a plan. If you live in a walk-up or you need to load your bike often, the heft is something to consider. On the ground, that same weight works in your favor. It plows through chatter and keeps its line. My main use case is a mixed commute. A few miles of neighborhood streets, a section of beat-up asphalt, some packed gravel in the park, and a final climb to the office. With this bike, I arrive without sore shoulders, and my lower back thanks me too. The upright position and the suspension mean I am not bracing for every crack. On the way home, I sometimes take the long route by the water and explore a sandy trail. With pedal assist in a middle setting, it is just fun riding. I am not chasing fitness on this bike. I am chasing time outside without hassle. There are also small touches that make a difference. The removable battery slides out with a key, which encourages me to bring it in to charge. The handlebar display is bright and simple, and the universal serial bus port is a thoughtful add for longer rides. The included fenders are not an afterthought. They actually keep grime off my clothes. The built-in lights avoid that last-minute scramble for clip-on lamps when an evening ride pops up. And the overcharge protection on the battery gives me peace of mind when I leave it on the charger while I cook dinner. Not everything is perfect. Beyond the handlebar clamp issue I already mentioned, the size and weight limit who this bike is for. If you are under 6 feet, test the standover height and reach. If you need to carry a bike upstairs regularly, be honest with yourself about whether you want to wrestle something this heavy. Also, while the motor is quiet, you will hear tire noise on pavement from the big tread. It is not loud, but it is a constant hum that comes with fat tires. For me, those trade-offs are worth it for the comfort and control I get. So here is where I land. If you want a sturdy electric mountain bike that can handle beat-up city streets during the week and then head onto gravel, sand, or light snow on the weekend, this fits. If you are tall, heavier, or you just prefer a commanding, upright ride, this fits even better. It looks bold, it rides steady, the battery lasts, and the brakes and suspension make daily riding feel less like a chore and more like a habit you can keep. If you are shorter or you need a bike that is easy to carry, or you want something nimble and light, this is probably not the right match. For me, it has become the bike I reach for when I want reliable power and comfort without fuss. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel and tell me what you want to see next in the comments. Thank you for watching.